Did we just add another first round pick to our Dynasty rookie drafts? Find out all that and more coming right after this short intro.
Welcome to South Harmon.
All right, today we're going to look at Chris Brazzell II out of Tennessee. He stands 6'4", weighed in at 198 pounds at the combine. Real tall, lean frame. He's 22 years old. He will be 23 in September. He is a deep threat, and not just with his 4.37 combine speed. Good on him, by the way. Hell of a fucking run this past weekend, man. I knew he was quick. I did not know he was going to be a 4.37 kind of guy. So props to him. Gonna open some eyes, which is one of those things that we're gonna have to dive into. Is he just a deep threat, or can he do more? He does show up on film. I'm not going to say that I saw, man, he looks like he's a 4.37 guy on film, but he does get downfield with ease. Very long strider, almost Mike Evans-esque in his kind of movement patterns, minus the fact that Mike Evans was about 30 pounds heavier when he entered the league than Chris is. But not going to knock him too much. He is a very fluid mover for his size. He is fluid in his routes. Doesn't look like route running is a huge concern for him. Some guys like that, we want to think of the N'Keal Harrys of the world, right? Like those kind of guys where you look and go, all they can do is just run go routes and just try to out physical people. Brazzell's got some moves. He's got some moves, and he has the ability to run routes. One other thing that stood out on the tape and I really like about him, he's very good against zone coverage, which seems kind of weird for a bigger guy like that, but he understands zone. He sits in zones very, very well. He shuffles to the correct areas when called. Tennessee kind of runs this gimmicky offense anyways. I'll talk a little bit about that here as we dive in further, but very good against zone. He ended up being PFF's number 3 graded wide receiver in receiving grade against zone for this class, which is actually pretty damn impressive. Not some stat that I thought I was going to pull. So he understands zone. He can get downfield. He's a deep threat. Some other stuff that he does very well. He's very good at the contested catch point. He has very good body control. He is very physical at the catch point. Almost too physical at times, which is fine. He got flagged a few times on tape for offensive pass interference, but I love to see that. I love to see that George Pickens-esque dog mentality. I wish it would show up in other areas of his game a little bit more, but we'll take it, man. I love to see him just chuck DBs to the side and say, this is my ball. I actually think they should probably flag the DBs for just being weak. All right, come on, fight harder. But he does that very well. He has great body control. I mentioned the physicality at the catch point. Here's the negatives, okay? Here's some things that are going to make us question it, right? We're going to see a guy that kind of came out of nowhere, played one really good year at Tennessee. We don't have much else in his production profile. We just don't. We have a true freshman year at Tulane that you can go off of. And if you want to go off of percentage of receiving yards and those kind of metrics, it's going to turn out pretty well. So he did do something when he was very young, but then you have this period of nothingness. And we just watched a guy come out of Tennessee who was comped to Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss and Deontay Thornton, and everyone went wild for, especially with what he did at the combine. Produced more than him last year at Tennessee, while Brazzell basically did nothing. So that is an area of concern. He also only ended up, according to PFF, played 5% of his snaps out of the slot. And every time we turned on the tape, this man is either lined up wide, on the right side. He doesn't move from it. And the few snaps we did see him in the slot, he's always on the left side in the slot, right? But it's very rare. According to PFF, only 5% of the time. I feel like when we watched the film, the cut-ups of him, we probably saw every game that he ever was in the slot, and there was nothing else to see after that because he lined up outside so damn much. Tennessee, with their gimmicky offense, they like to put their wide receivers damn near on the out-of-bounds lines and spread the field as wide as humanly possible, but there's no real creativity. There was no real moving him around, trying to get him a better matchup, anything like that. We put him on the right, we put him out wide. Here you go win. Another thing that I didn't really enjoy watching on the film, the guy was rarely pressed and rarely played press man coverage. And I know before you jump me about it, the NFL doesn't play primarily press man coverage, but even in zones, even when they're playing, cover 3, they will get up and they will press and they'll put hands on wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. They didn't do that a lot. Maybe it's out of fear of him running by them. I have no idea what it was, but you didn't get a very good gauge on, can he get off press? Can he use his release package? Can he knock hands away and get into his route combinations? Because the other thing that I did see, even though that they're sitting 5-10 yards off the line of scrimmage against him, sometimes when he'd run these routes, and far too often for my taste, he run the routes and he runs right into the DB, and then he just wants to grab him, right? He wants to put his hands on it like everything's going to be a damn fade route. You want to see him shake somebody. You want to see him set somebody up to the inside and then go to the outside, or vice versa, not just run right into the DB. I need some creativity out of him. I need him to expand his portfolio as far as route running and get more technical in it. Not that he's terrible at it, because you do see him at times do a very, very good job of setting guys up. It's just stop running into dudes, please. I don't like to see it. And it's kind of evident in showing, listen, we watched him beat man coverage pretty often on film, but through the totality of the season, PFF has him as the 61st graded wide receiver against man in this class. That's a little bit of a red flag. He's also not going to really give you a whole lot in the yak game. Partly it's because of the frame, man. He's 6'4" and slender. I mean, what do you want him to do? Truck everybody? He's not big enough to do that. What do you want him to do? Juke everybody out of their pants? Not really a thing. I did see some comps with him as, you know, George Pickens, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, he does do some George Pickens-esque things. Totality of the game, though, he's not even close to George Pickens. George Pickens got that dog. George Pickens, when he gets that ball in his hands, wants to stiff arm everybody through the damn turf. He's not George Pickens, people. He's not. Another thing that showed up on film that I didn't really like to see, and this is probably just a product of watching Tate, Tyson, and Lemon so far, not really active when the play isn't going his way. Now, granted, he's in no man's land and the play's going to the left if he's lined up out right. Like, he is, might as well be in a different stadium at that point. But yeah, half-ass efforts at best. We're talking like 1-2 steps off the line of scrimmage and then just lightly touch the DB that he's supposed to be blocking. Doesn't really look like he gives a shit. Like I said, it could just be Tennessee's offense. You saw him try to block a couple times. He looked decent when he did it, but it just, I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about. So I say all that. Those are your pluses. There's your negatives. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes on why you're here. My player comp for him is Martavis Bryant. You will remember him of Pittsburgh Steelers fame and probably infamy of the Raiders. I think they were still in Oakland at the time. So Martavis Bryant is a pretty damn good comp. They both kind of have the same build, the same tall, lean frame, deep threats vertical down the field, and they do have the speed not only verified at the combine, but also on film to back that up. Very good at the contested catch point. If he has a Martavis Bryant career without the off the field stuff, without being part of the Antonio Brown thing too, and like how did Tomlin hold this whole thing together with these two guys. If he has a Martavis Bryant like production career or NFL career, that would be a very good plus for him, and I think that would be a benefit to a lot of dynasty managers. So we would like that. We will take that. It's not a bad comp for him. He plays a hell of a lot like him. I think now that the combine's in the books, right, that 4.37 is going to open up not only our eyes as dynasty managers, but also NFL draft scouts, NFL talent evaluators. I think there is a decent shot that he does go in the first round. We talked about it when we watched this film last Thursday before the combine, that I said even then I think there's a chance that he has a first round, possibility or outcome in his range of outcomes. I do think now with that 4.37, we're inching even more closer to that being a reality. I think the back end of the first is a reality. To me, he's more of a round 2 wide receiver. Possibly top end round 2, but somewhere in that round 2 range. I know for a lot of metrics and stuff on how we look at wide receivers, if you're a top 50 draft pick, that's pretty good success indicator for your NFL future. I do think he kind of falls into that range. I do think he's probably going to be a top 50 pick. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm not going to be shocked if he falls lower than that, and I'm not going to be shocked if he's taken in the first round. Maybe Al Davis comes back from the grave. We talked about Martavis Bryant with the Raiders, and we get something crazy with him in the teens, but I highly doubt it. Look for him more in the back end of the first round, early part of the second round. I say all that now to get into the dynasty rankings. Where should you be taking Chris Brazzell? it's a lot of it. I hate to say this, but a lot of it's going to depend on draft capital. When we start to get into these second tier, third tier prospects, a lot of it's going to be depending on what NFL teams tell us. And I got hit rate warp to back this up on where they go and the percentage fall off if he's a round 1 guy or if he's a round 2 guy. I say right now, if he's a round 1 wide receiver, we do our rookie drafts, you could take him anywhere 108 to 110, and that'd be a perfectly fine range. You know, either one of those 3 picks, perfectly fine. If he's a second rounder, we're talking about a guy that needs to go more 112, probably till 203 in your rookie draft. So think of him kind of in that range. Some of us have to make this decision before we actually get NFL draft comp. Like before we actually know where these guys are going, before they're actually picked. We have these pre-NFL rookie drafts, or some people may be doing a startup with rookie names already included. Shout out to Sleeper for being super early on the rookie names too, by the way. Love it. If you got to make that decision right now, I'm just going to tell you where I'm at. I'm going to split the difference of those 2 ranges that I gave you, and I would say at the 110, I have comfortability in taking Chris Brazzell right now. And I think that might even be a little bit on the high side for a lot of people on how they feel. So you may still sneak him in at the 111 or 112 in your drafts, but I think at the 110, I have comfortability taking him right now. I will say that after the combine, my lean is a little bit more to the plus side because that was a hell of a performance and I can't knock the kid for it. And what I already saw on tape, good enough to be there. So if you're good enough to be there and you go out and you run a 4.37 at the combine, all of a sudden it's looking pretty good. So if you got a pre-NFL rookie drafter, you got to make that decision now in a startup on where you take him. Think about it in the rookie draft range, probably in the 110. So for your startup range, you're probably talking like 8th, 9th round in a startup. In a rookie draft though, 110. 110 is where my comfortability level is with Chris Brazzell. I say all that to say, I think we got another one. Not too bad for a class that just a few months ago was dog shit. Nobody wanted a single piece. All of a sudden, it's almost like we get to combine time and guys' stocks start rising. Who knew? Who could have told you that? Imagine that. That guy's pretty smart. That's all I got for you. If you want to check out these rookie scouting in person live when we do it, patreon.com/South Harmon. Thursday nights is when we are putting the film on. We're discussing prospects and we're getting the lowdown on everyone. I do have a Denzel Boston video that will be coming out shortly, and Fernando Mendoza is in the cards. That this Thursday night, that's when we're watching him. So you want to figure out maybe the only quarterback that we have in this draft. We'll see. We'll see. Fernando Mendoza, we're going to dive into his film, but I appreciate everybody. I'll see y'all back here same time, same place next week. I'm out of here. Peace.